If you're someone who's looking to lead a balanced life with all of your pursuits, achieve incredible things, and really get into how an Olympic champion goes about and perfects their craft, then this episode's for you. Whew. You know, Ari, if I was stranded on a desert island, I wouldn't want my Prior jacket to be with me because it is so thin and so light. Helpful on the strip, not in the survival situation. Visit the Prior USA shop, link in bio.
All right, Steven.
Hey, Ari.
We back.
We're back.
So, again, for the viewers and listeners, it's been a week. But for us, it's been a couple
hours. Just kidding. I wore the same thing 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. What is time? Last episode was pretty awesome.
Had a good time with that.
Yeah.
Grant's a great guy. Like I said, I didn't find my words right on the episode, but he's a guy who always like takes the opportunity to speak to you. And like when you see him at practice, like really just like goes out of his way to say hi and chat with you about something. And I really enjoy talking to him. I really enjoy my interactions with him. He's a good guy, and hearing his story was incredible. Like I had no idea anything about this guy, and he had a really great story, really heartfelt, touching story. And I hope to see him achieve his dreams in the future.
Yeah, it was really cool having him open up to us. You know, he's the first guest. All the guests have opened up. Eli had a really, really, intense conversation with us about his Olympic woes and challenges. And the fact that Grant was able to open up to us about his own struggles was really touching and, inspiring. Just clearly, I didn't realize we were as disarming as apparently we are.
I think that's just him.
Okay, you're right. It's not us.
Maybe
it's
we're
not
disarming. We'll find out over time.
But still, it was a great episode, and I'm rooting for him as much as any of our other guests, and it's awesome to have our teammates here. So
this week, a bit of a shift. Am I incorrect in saying this is the best fencer, like most accomplished fencer we've had on the podcast thus far?
Sorry, Nikita. I do believe that this fencer does one-up you. And I know Eli is a world champion and 3-time Olympian, but the medals that this fencer has are just really, really shiny. And there's no denying it. Today we have the Paris Olympics team champion. I'll start that over. Today we have the Paris Olympic team champion, individual silver medalist. We have a 2-time junior individual world champion, 3-time junior team world champion, a senior team world champion, an NCAA individual champion, and the 2023-2024 4th-ranked fencer in the world, Lauren Scruggs. Woo! Hello, Lauren.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
What was better, this introduction or your Sesame Street introduction?
Definitely this one.
Okay, good. But yeah, she's also our first guest that's been on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
It's kind of huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, never thought about that. Yeah, Steven.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to be here.
Yeah, of course.
We're excited to have you. We're excited to get right into it. So I guess without further ado, we like to start off with just learning a bit about who you are, origin story, how'd you start fencing, why fencing, how'd you get into this weird little niche thing, and just take it away. Tell your story.
Yeah, so the short story that I tell everyone is, my older brother, he was obsessed with Star Wars. So he started fencing, and then I kind of did everything he did, and, rest is history. But I guess the long story is really that, back in the day, my mom saw this guy, Keith Smart, black fencer, and basically was inspired by him to put my brother in the sport, along with, the benefits of like college and whatnot and having a sport like fencing. So she put him in the sport, and then I quickly just followed suit. Like I would go to all the tournaments, and I was like, I can be way better than you, Nolan. Nolan's my brother. And then, the rest was history from then on.
Keith Smart's actually, so we've talked about him before on this podcast, and Sabula started fencing because of Keith Smart. She watched him fence in the Olympics in Beijing as a 10-year-old girl, and she was beyond inspired. And here she is an Olympian
Wow.
all these years later. She said, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. That guy's amazing. And after that, we actually reached out to Keith, and Keith is going to be a future guest on this show. So we're going to let him know that 2 of our previous guests, amazing champions, were also just inspired by him. As many, just 2 people on our show, but Keith has inspired a gajillion fencers. So that's really cool that that's where your story kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you start fencing at?
I started fencing at a club called Brooklyn Fencing Center. I totally forget the neighborhood, but it was in Brooklyn. Very small club. But then quickly, after a few years there, went over to this club called Empire United Fencing. It's actually where my mom met my stepdad, Sean, who's also my coach. And, been with him ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what kind of spurred that transition? Was it like a realization that, this is a more serious club or a larger club, or just try something new? Like,
it was everything at first was focused on my brother because he's 6 years older than me. And so I think, my mom just saw he needed a better training environment. And at the time, Sean was coaching really good fencers like Race Imbeden is one of them. So she kind of was like, oh, I'm going to, send him there and maybe get, a little bit better of coaching and training environment. And then I kind of just followed.
Nice. Yeah. So it's funny, side tangent. My dad says Race's last name like you do.
Really?
I said it in front of some foilists like that, and they made fun of me.
How do you say it?
I thought it was Imboden.
That's how they say it.
But Imbeden,
Imbeden. I think Imbeden sounds
Wait,
cool.
I thought
Race,
it was Imbeden.
Get on this podcast, Race, and tell us how to say your last name, and that'll just settle it.
Yeah.
I should know how to say his last name. That's how I said it. I don't know.
I think you have the credentials to settle this debate in my mind.
Yeah, honestly, after I heard you say that, I thought the exact same thing Steven thought, and then was just like, all right, it's Imbeden now. Lauren said it's Imbeden. So that is a funny side tangent. I guess it's interesting. We have a question later in today's episode, but we might as well just start talking about that. So your coach, your whole career has been Sean McClain, right?
Basically, yeah.
Basically. So I guess with any, parent-child or step-parent-child relationship, when they're just any person, there's a long journey, a lot of intense moments of, ups and downs with our own parents. But when they're your coach, that adds a whole layer of dynamics that the most parent-child relationships don't experience. And we have had other fencers on this show with parents that were their coach. Nick Aitken is a great example. We got to speak to that with him a little bit. If you're comfortable, how has that helped or hurt you in your career? Because obviously there are pros and cons, and people who manage it really well, like yourself and Nikita, end up, on top of the world. But I'm sure that doesn't come without its own challenges. So how do you manage that and balance it?
Yeah, I think he did a good job of just like isolating fencing. Like fencing only happened at the fencing club, and then at home it was just home, which was good for me because like I could, quadrant things and separate those two things, which is important. But also like, I think I'm just very easygoing. Like I think us as a duo clicked. Like I think I'm very understanding of when he's, trying something new and things like that. And he's understanding of like, oh, sometimes I'm not going to get things right. I think, he's a really good coach, away from me in his own right. So he brings that to the table. But I also think I'm just like an easy person to coach. I think like, to be honest, like I think I'm just very easygoing. You tell me to do something, I can do it or I'll try. And I'm pretty understanding of like, when people make mistakes, like, your coach is not perfect. So I think that's kind of how, I've never had any big issues. Maybe once or twice, obviously, like I'm human. But yeah, I think we just kind of clicked together really well.
That's amazing.
lucky.
Yeah.
That's the exact opposite of what Nikita said, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because for him, I mean, you
funny.
know Nick and his dad, he said that, for there, it's like if something happens, it gets taken home.
Yeah.
And I've seen both, and I think that, both lend themselves to different pros and cons. And I think that if I had a parent who's a fencing coach, I would probably prefer what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And if I was to coach my kid, I would do my best to do exactly what you're discussing here.
Yeah. I also don't really talk about fencing outside of like when I am fencing.
Or this podcast.
This podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
to
that's
break
like a
that
good,
up.
that's kind of how we prevent that.
That's pretty amazing, though. I think
Yeah.
that's important because so many people define themselves in whatever it is they're doing, and it's like, this is me. Even Steven and I get wrapped up in that sometimes, and the more intertwined you are with it, the harder it is to have other things to talk about. So I think that's amazing that you're able to compartmentalize these pieces of your life, and that's probably a huge part of your success. So if you don't mind me asking, that was a great segue into a totally different question off the top of my head. What do you like talking about or doing outside of fencing? Like what's in Lauren Scruggs' schedule?
Very like present person. So yeah, whatever I'm doing, I'm just kind of focused on that. I would say like I definitely don't define myself as just a fencer. Like I have other things going for me. I mean, that kind of life that I want, it's kind of influenced my decision to like on where to go to college and like who to be friends with, maybe people who I want to room with. So I definitely try to keep those two things separate. But I guess Lauren as not a fencer, I don't know. I like to watch TV. I like anime. I like fashion. I don't know. I think I'm like a normal average person, but I just happen to do this sport really well.
That's awesome. No, that's true. Your brother's into skateboarding. Are you a skateboarder?
When I was younger, I actually did skateboard, and then I was actually pretty good. I could do like an ollie, I could do pop shove, 180, but
that's sick. I did a kickflip until I was like 11, and then I didn't skateboard for a while, and then about 2 years later, game over. No kickflip. Never again.
I actually was like big into like skating culture, like Nigel Houston. I would like watch those videos all the time.
He's also an Olympic medalist.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get to meet him?
I don't know. I feel like I saw him. I don't know. You meet a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We'll get there maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hurt myself skateboarding. I was on like the half pipe or whatever, and I fell, and then I was like, I'm done. Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Yeah.
That's I think, it's something that we haven't done an excellent job of with our guests, and I hope we'll continue to do this. Just getting to know, what are they like outside, and I think it's great for people in the fencing community too to see like what different fencers are like outside of just the strip. And I think there's overlaps and there's differences in how you live your life on and off the strip. But it's good to hear, just like down to earth, like you said, normal person who's just sick at fencing.
Yeah.
It's really important for people to hear, because it's like, some people think, they see you, they see your results. It's undeniable in the fencing world. Everyone knows who you are. They might think like, oh, I have to swear some fealty to just being in the gym 200 hours in a row, whatever, to get to that level. But maybe it's the balance that's helped you get to where you are, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like a lot of, talented fencers I've met are kind of lazy. Like, I don't love being in the gym like 24/7. Like if I don't have to practice, I'm not practicing. Like after World Cup, I try to take like a good week off before I go back, just so I can like reset, but also just like I don't know, just rest. Like I'm tired. But yeah, I definitely like growing up, I always just tried to like keep those two things separate. Like fencing was obviously a big part of my life. I spent a lot of time doing it. Missed a lot of school and whatnot, but in my head, I never thought of it as like my life, even though technically it is. I think that's kind of just helped me like, stay in love with the sport all these years, because it gets really tough sometimes, and just to continue like doing it. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because we spoke earlier today about, how different things sort of help you manage that burnout over a long career. And would you say that's how you've managed it? You know, with all the travel, with all the competitions that you've done, like how have you stayed in love with it and stayed just in it for so long?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have your own life aside from the sport. One, I think for young athletes, that's like super important, because like if you are like a fencer and like fencing's not going well for you, then you're gonna feel, not very good. So it's good to have a life outside of fencing, I think, not just for like development, but also your mental health. I mean, it's not something I think about, but I think naturally I've developed like a good way to manage my mental health by kind of having a separate life from the strip. So yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the key to like not burning out is just have fun, like do things, like make friends outside of fencing, try new things, things like that.
Huge.
It's great advice.
Yeah.
That is great. You're a very balanced young adult. It's awesome hearing you talk. On the contrary, though, we do ask a question of all of our guests. And I know we were talking about balance and all this stuff, but at the same time, you are a professional at what you do. You're one of the best on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You have proven that in many occasions at the youth level, at the adult level, when the lights are the brightest, you show up. And, individually, I know you haven't had as many medals as you maybe will have at the end of the line, but you have done it at these big ticket events. And you've also really shown up in teams over the last couple of years as the ringer, as the anchor. And there's a lot of pressure that comes along with that. And you have to really want to be there in that moment, in that position. And I think that the question that I know the question that we ask is, what was your all-in moment with fencing? And what that really means to us, at least, is, do you have or remember a moment in your career where you had a decision to really want to be the best at this, whether or not you realized you had talent or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a moment like that, but I think growing up, like my mom specifically kind of put this thought of like, oh, you have to be the best at what you do. Like if you're going to do something, you're going to do it well and try to be the best. And so from a young age, like I never was like, oh, I need to go to the Olympics and win a medal. But in my head, I'd always tell myself, oh, I'm just going to try to be the best that I can be. And I feel like that mentality as I got older would transfer to different stages. Like when I was in Y10, I remember like I was doing a Y14 tournament. I was like, oh, why can't I win the Y14 tournament? So I won the Y14 tournament. When I got to like cadet and juniors, I was like, oh, like this is my first junior cadet worlds. Like why not just try to see the best I can do? And then I medaled, right? So, and then at the Olympics, right? I didn't think I was going to win or anything. I thought I was going to lose the first bout, but I was like, might as well try and, see what the best I can do is and, won 2 medals. So I think just carrying that mentality with me, I think, I don't know, it just pushed me to like, want it more, but I was never really chasing like a specific thing. I was more so just trying to see how far I could go. And it just kind of worked out. But I guess if I pinpoint it to a specific time is like kind of cadet juniors. That's when things kind of get more serious and you get a taste of like senior tournaments and like, fencing, not just for yourself, but for your country, things like that. So I guess that's kind of the point when I got really, really serious.
Yeah.
That experience of representing something greater than yourself. And now there's like a,
stakes.
Stakes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, I have a question sort of separately about when you have this mentality of I want to be the best, how does that, like, what's your approach to that? Is it a sheer, for you, for everybody it's different, but for you, is that like a sheer willpower, like I'm just going to give it 100% effort and be the best? Or has that affected, your approach in training, how you develop certain things? Like what drives that desire to be the best? Or like, what's your methodology to be the best you can be?
I mean, I think it's more so just seeing like how, I guess, good I can get as a fencer, not necessarily like a specific like amount of medals or a place. Like, can I, be the best? Can I attack super well? Like, is it like whenever I go forward, I can hit? Like, is that working? Okay, then I'm kind of getting really good at attacking or becoming the best, which I'm not.
Yeah, you're very good at attacking. we there's a group of epeists who watch foil stuff. I'm sure there's probably a large group, but myself and I'm sure Cooper Schumacher, we watch some of the foil, women's foil stuff, and whenever you're doing well, we're just like, dude, Lauren doesn't retreat. She doesn't take a step back. She just like tank, just going down, destroying people.
I was actually a few weeks ago. We were having a reunion with like the women's foil squad, from the Olympics, and I've never watched the the announcer or whatever clip. And we were watching, and the guy who was like doing the announcements and he was like, "Oh, there's Scruggs. She never goes back." Like he just kept like
Hyping up your attack.
No, he kept talking about it so negatively. She's like, "Oh, she's not going to go back."
Really?
Like, come on, man. Like,
no, he just
She's
doesn't
not
know
gonna get hit
fencing.
either.
He doesn't know
Yeah.
ball like that, you know?
maybe he just didn't like attacking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it. I think go hard, go home.
Absolutely. That's sick.
Absolutely.
Steven's also a really good attacker.
Yeah.
I'm a counter attacker. I'm a troll.
I have to fight the urge to counterattack. That's what it's become.
I have to fight the urge to attack.
Attacking's more fun.
It is.
It's better to get hit going forward than getting hit going back.
Absolutely. That I agree with every time. I hate
Yeah.
getting hit, being like, I should have attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so why fencing? Like, I know that at the beginning you told us why you started and you talked to us about your all-in moment, but you know, at this point, you're choosing to fence, right? When you were a kid, it was your older brother was doing it. Your stepdad is a fencing coach, but no one's requiring you to fence right now, right? But you're still doing it. You graduated from Harvard a year ago, and you're now in the real world, whatever that means. It's all the real world. But point being, you're still fencing. Like, why? What about fencing draws you to it?
I mean, I think I still like it. Like it's not like I'm going to practice and like, oh, I have to be here. So that's one thing. But I also feel like I still feel kind of hungry. Like I feel like there's more medals to collect, more things to learn, more things to get better at. Like my defense, I'd love to be an all-round fencer. So yeah, I feel like I still have things to, prove and try in the sport. So I just want to keep, going and see where I go, see how good I can get. But I've always told myself, like, if I don't like it, I'm just going to stop. Like, I'm very fine with stopping fencing whenever. I think I feel very satisfied. But it's more so like a personal thing for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's great. And your mentality is awesome. It's consistent with everything else you've said on this episode and in general when we've heard you speak. That being said, got to call you out. You didn't answer my question. Why fencing?
Oh,
what about fencing is special to you?
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, like what?
I don't know. I've always been really athletic.
Yeah.
I think it was just a manner of just like, it's just what I got put in, and it's the first sport I took really seriously. Like, growing up, like we had like after school soccer, which I liked. I think we had tennis, which I tried, but I don't know, something about fencing just like clicked. Like, I don't know. It's kind of almost like boxing, which I like. It's like, I like the one-on-one aspect of it. I like that it's an individual sport for the most part because, I feel like the concept of being on a team and like, let's say you could be like perfect, but if your team's not perfect, then it's like whatever, which I think after a while would really frustrate me. But yeah, I don't know. I think something just clicked. Like I was lucky to find a sport that just really aligned with me and my body type and the things I liked. Yeah.
Well, my last question on that line, and then we'll leave you alone here. Steven will jump in. Do you think fencing is cool?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Hell yeah.
I think
fencing's cool, everyone.
This has been
this is a hot take.
No, it's not a hot take.
A lot of people will say fencing is not
No,
cool.
we're pushing. This show is about pushing the fact that fencing is cool. And Nick Itkin was the first guest that we had where we really used this phrase and we're pushing it. Like fencing is cool. And the more that we can destigmatize it, and because everyone grew up I'm sure you even had this when you were growing up. People were like, fencing? That's kind of weird, like whatever.
Yeah.
But we're adults and we're doing it and we love it. And there's like, it's fun to do, we're cool, right? Like it must be cool. Anywho.
Yeah. I think it comes from just like the history of the sport. Like it's like, oh, I'm a fencer, ha ha.
Yeah.
Like
it's not like that. It's not like that anymore.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
But definitely growing up, like when I would like take a step back and be like, what am I doing? Like I'm doing this like weird sport. But I think I've claimed the sport as my own. I've added my own little style to it. So I think I like to fence in a way in which like I would like to watch, which I think is cool. But yeah, teach their own.
Yeah, teach their own. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I
don't care.
I'm gonna start asking that question more. I think it's fun.
I think you should take some time to consider that if you push something to be cool so hard, does that
Yeah.
make it cool? Or-
Probably makes it less cool, which it goes along with my character. I kill most jokes.
The dead horse?
All right.
Ari Simmons.
Yeah. Just beating it. All right. I'm taking a pause.
All right. Anybody want a donut?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is a special episode. I was excited. So I thought we'd get a nice special treat. Who doesn't like a Krispy Kreme donut?
Well, Lauren hands out a lot of donuts on strips, so
That's I should
I actually don't.
really.
I don't believe in bageling people.
Yeah, you're a big 5'4"
You're a big
girl.
mercy girl.
I'm a 5'4" type
I think
of
it's
guy.
just bad karma. Like I try to give them a point. If it's real, if it's like 12-0, it's bad karma.
Listen,
I don't believe in bagels.
that's really easy to say because you can 15-0 someone. I don't think I have the skill.
But
to
I'm
do
actually
it.
not good at that.
Yeah, neither am I. I like anywhere around like 2-0 and 4-0. I just
I usually start down. It takes me. I gotta get adjusted, acclimated. Yeah,
do you like 5s or 15s more?
15. Hate 5 seconds.
Really? Was NCAAs really tough for you mentally through that?
I'm terrible. It was like my least favorite tournament. But yeah.
Yeah, NCAAs was wild. We've had athletes talk about that,
Yeah.
and everyone's got pretty different takes on that tournament experience. Do you think it helped prep you for high pressure moments?
No, I think like if you're going to Senior World Cups and you fence day one, really helpful to just get really good at having high intensity, off the rip 5-touch bouts, which I think it helped there, like helping me get to the top 16. Definitely helpful, but I don't know. Senior year, I don't know what it was. Like it was not aligning with me at all. Yeah,
It's okay. NCAAs is really taxing,
yeah.
especially
just-
4 years of it.
It's
Wait,
tough.
5 years, like it's taxing. I think I really
fun.
enjoyed my time of being on a team. I think
Yeah.
like being on, at least from our experience, and you were on a championship winning team, right?
Yeah,
Right, that's fun.
yeah,
But
That part was fun.
I
was,
think it was more about being a part of the group that was fun.
yeah. That
It
was
was-
really fun.
It was an adjustment. Like,
You-
for me at least, because I've had a similar view to you my whole life of just like I like this because it's an individual sport, even team fencing, like you're not
Yeah.
like the success or failure of a point isn't directly responsible of one of your points that you score isn't like the responsibility of your teammate. And so that was like an adjustment period for me, just like that additional pressure of affecting other people's livelihoods and results.
Yeah.
And the fact that on like even a fencing team, when you go at your Olympics, World Cup, whatever, it's max 3 other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You pop onto an NCAA team, and all of a sudden there's like minimum
Dozens.
25 other people relying on you. At Notre Dame, there were like 60 other
60,
people
yeah.
relying on you. It was interesting. These are not planned questions. We're just
No, we're
shooting
just shooting
the
shit.
Yeah.
But
I do want to ask because I like hearing this answer from people, but what led to your college decision? What was that recruitment process like? What was your mentality surrounding choosing
Yeah.
your school,
I mean,
and how was it
Yeah.
overall?
So one, I wanted to not go to a school just for its fencing program. That was super important to me. Growing up, my brother went to Columbia. He's 6 years older than me, so I always was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Columbia. Like they have a good program. But then as I started getting closer to like graduating from high school, I was like, oh, I should try something new and like not focus on fencing for once, because I mean that had been like a large chunk of my life basically. And so with COVID, like I had more time to think about things, and I was like, oh, I should try to leave New York. 'Cause if you don't leave New York, you're never gonna leave basically.
Want another donut, by the way?
I'm good on donuts. So
some
I hit
health
up
freaks
Coach
over
Daria,
here.
and she was obviously ecstatic. I had experiences with her at previous World Championships. I think in my first World Championships, she was there, and she was great cadre. She was great there.
was that Verona?
Yeah, Verona. Yeah. She was great there. So I was like, oh, like, I feel pretty comfortable, like, moving away from home to go be over there if she's there. So, yeah, that was kind of my decision. I was like, I want to
Go somewhere
Yeah, go
different
somewhere
and-
new.
yeah.
Notre Dame is a little too far.
Fair enough.
And in the middle of nowhere. Like some
yeah.
people don't vibe with that.
Yeah, I think that would have been too much for me. Harvard was just right.
Also,
Penn though. I should have thought about Penn. They would have not have been a bad
Penn's
choice.
cool. Philly, there's a lot of really good food in Philly.
Yeah, actually.
And then I guess my experience. I loved Harvard. I thought it was great. I think the team kind of shares the same view that I have on fencing of where like it's not their whole life. Like they have fencing, but they also have other things. So yeah, it was great going there. Like I could really compartmentalize like fencing and my own things going on, which was great. And obviously like Daria, she really cares about the athletes. So, I was really lucky to, have her be my coach while I was trying to qualify for the Olympics. Like she brought on this guy, Jed Dupree.
Mm-hmm.
He actually used to work with Sean, my coach, when we were younger. So it's kind of like, full circle moment. But he was really helpful. And important in basically getting me to qualify for Paris. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jed's an interesting character.
For sure.
He's had a very interesting life. We should get him on the podcast eventually.
Yeah.
He's gone to Southeast Asia on like meditation retreats. Like he's basically disappeared off the face of the earth.
He's
and then like returned and disappeared again and then like resurfaced. And every time he resurfaces, he just makes a bunch of people better and then he vanishes again. It's like the Avatar or something.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Is he there now?
Yeah. I think he'll stay there for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Till the next wave of Southeast Asian meditation retreats.
Yeah.
We actually were meditating a lot at Harvard.
Do you like
Can't say I liked it, no.
Oh, okay.
But it was new.
You're talking to two meditators right here.
Oh, I don't know.
I recently found the practice.
I mean, my dad taught me when I was a kid, and I've just been repping. I have a very, as you've probably slowly picked up on via this episode, I'm a bit high energy. I'm trying to speak calmly right now, but I've definitely some form of ADHD, ADD.
Yeah, I think I have that too.
But meditation has really helped me center myself because otherwise I'm really all over the place and quite annoying. Yeah, like that.
That's an Ari noise. I learned that from watching him.
I'll do it right now on this episode. All right, that was too much. Yeah. Sorry to the mic people listening. Let's just go to the next question. So you're the first for many things. You are the first Black American woman to win an individual fencing medal at the Olympics. You're the first member, or you're a member of the first Olympic championship winning foil team for the U.S., men's or women's. You are the first women's foilist to be on direct elimination. And you're also an out and proud member of the LGBTQ plus community and a lot of other things. I think you're the third, I want to say, Black fencer to win a world championship gold from the U.S. or something. Wow. Definitely read that on your Wikipedia page. But point is that there's a long list of things that come along with being a trailblazer. And the question that we have is there a certain pressure that goes along with that? Once you just start to hear these narratives build around you, some of them are just nothing to do with even the way you behave or anything. They're just like the way you look or identify. Yeah. And, how do you deal with those narratives and the pressure potentially that could come along with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever felt pressure from that. I mean, I think, it's just me being me is the way I view it. And, it's great that me just being myself is, something to celebrate. So yeah, I don't think I feel any pressure. I think instead I just feel like it's my duty to just exist as my fullest self for, other people to maybe look up to. But I don't think there's any pressure kind of that I feel from that. Yeah.
That's awesome. You're a beast.
A+ answer.
Yeah, A+ answer. No, seriously. So then I guess on the flip side, does it entertain you hearing that, you're the first of all these things and many more to come?
Yeah, sometimes it's just funny because I'm just like, I'm just kind of doing my thing, And I'm like,
I was going to do it anyway.
Awards and whatnot. So it is kind of weird just to like be celebrated for existing.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice.
You're like, yo, how's nobody done this yet? I didn't mean to be the first. I'm just doing it.
But obviously, like, acknowledge that, like, it's important to be like someone's the first for someone, so someone can look up to. If people see people like themselves doing things, and they're gonna do it. So, I do acknowledge that, and I try to definitely, represent myself in a good way and be a good role model. But yeah, I'm just trying to be myself.
I respect that in its fullest. Great answer.
Nah,
I'm stumped. I was like, I'm trying to come up with the best questions. Like, nah, you were ready for that. Instantly.
You're also the first person to leave Ari Simmons speechless.
Yeah,
that's probably the most difficult of all those first.
I'll be quiet for 8 minutes. Nah.
Sorry.
No.
Don't be sorry. No, this is awesome.
Every answer you've given is great. Like, we have other questions that are written out, and we'll keep asking them. But just in general, we're trying to take in what you're saying and sit with it, because it's great. The way you feel comfortable in yourself and in your journey and what you've done and what you're going to do is pretty great. And as we have guests on the show, this is more an Ari Steven conversation, but you can listen to it. But no, really, it's like we kind of get tidbits of gold from these awesome guests of like what
makes them tick,
what
how
makes
do they do it?
What makes you you? Because in many ways we're all similar. We've lived this similar journey of this niche sport, riding the wave to the top, all this stuff, the sacrifices that we make or decisions. But then at the same time, the really, really elite fencers have things about them that set them apart from your average Joe fencer. And it could be a series of things. It could be one thing. And to hear how present you are, and you've described yourself as present, we hear it. And we see it, and it's really cool.
That's why you didn't need the meditation. You already had it.
Yeah. You're just already in
step.
that gamma state or whatever they call it, like just zen.
So the next question we have written down is just: were there any hurdles or setbacks in your journey that you had to overcome or deal with? And would you like to spend some time talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, getting into fencing and trying to do this sport obviously was not easy for my family. It's a very expensive sport, which I think a lot of people, share that issue, like access and whatnot. So I think just growing up, like, it was tough, just like knowing you're doing a sport that was burdening your family almost. So definitely, that was tough. I don't come from a very wealthy family, so like my mom was a teacher, and at the time it was just my grandma who was a housekeeper. So, trying to do fencing was tough. Definitely have a lot of credit card debt from that. We're gonna pay it off though. So I think for me, like, there was just a lot of pressure from a very young age to like not waste a moment. So, if you look at my career when I was a kid, like, it was like, oh, you're just so good and whatnot. And like, yeah, I think I was pretty talented from a young age, but I think I also had more pressure on me than most kids my age, which I think led to me just taking things a lot more seriously from a young age and like developing ways to get better faster. For example, like I remember like, from a young age, like if I had a lesson, like what I learned in the lesson, I would practice, which is something not a lot of kids actually do. Or like, let's say I could only go to practice for like a few hours because like obviously I didn't live that close to the fencing club. Like I'm gonna utilize that time really, really well so I get the most out of it. So I think that was kind of like the main struggle I felt with the sport, just like knowing that it was like my one shot, and so I had a lot of pressure to do well. It worked out though. So yeah, that's definitely my biggest hurdle for sure.
That's interesting, and it's I felt the similar pressure growing up, and I knew a lot of people who felt similar pressures growing up, and some people were able to overcome that and some people weren't. And so it's very interesting to hear your take on that and your mentality on that as your younger self, because I think that's an incredibly mature approach, and it's an incredibly like effective, deadly like approach to like professional way to approach this. It's really crazy to hear. Like that's I don't think you could have done it better, really. Like mentally at least. Obviously, maybe there was practices here or there you could have done better, but like that's an incredible approach, an incredible maturity throughout your entire career, and just a testament to you and yourself as a competitor, as an athlete. Like that's
I mean, my mom was obviously, she put a lot of pressure on us to do well, rightfully so. But yeah,
But
just
you
kinda-
dealt with it.
Yeah,
That's the thing. You
Just
didn't.
you have to find a way. I think that's the
Right.
best answer.
And be effective with your time. Don't waste the time. Take
Yeah.
the time you're
Pet
given.
peeve
And
of mine. Kids these days, they go to practice. They're there for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm like, you don't need to be at practice that long. Like 2 hours, you can get a good practice in. Even an hour, you can get good practice in.
yeah.
I don't think that I was exposed to that way of thinking until I was out of college.
Yeah.
We naturally in college we had shorter practices because there was
Yeah.
a time limit, right? Which I think inadvertently exposed us to that, where we were getting better in college in a very short time span. But my coach after college used to tell me, he really hammered in the quality over quantity
Yeah.
concept, and I totally agree with you. I don't think that it's
Yeah.
something that a lot of people are thinking about. They think if I take 5, 8 lessons a week, whatever, I'm going to get better. Like, maybe when you're a beginner, maybe there's a certain point where that will help you jump, but the diminishing marginal returns on that hits pretty quickly. And at a certain point, it's like, what are you doing? It's just,
I take like 2 lessons a week.
I take 2
But
as
like
well.
some of these kids are doing like a lesson every day. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely don't do that.
That's also information overload, right? You're talking about using
Yeah.
that doesn't give them as many opportunities to use what they're doing in their lesson, in their
Yeah.
bouts. And that's something that you mentioned you do. And that is really important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to an extent it depends on the person, like just the
sure.
number of reps you need to get a good feel for something. But if that's across the board,
Yeah.
every single day of the week lesson, like that's maybe not the best approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're advocating for less money for fencing coaches.
Yeah. Sorry, all
More
fencing
lessons, more
coaches.
lessons.
More lessons. Buy more lessons.
No. More students.
Yeah. More.
More
2
students,
lessons per student.
less lessons.
Yeah.
Just more students. We'll just keep making fencing cooler, and then they'll just have more students, right? No.
You're nailing it.
Yeah. Sorry, dead horse. You're mine. So I'm getting an idea of your mentality. I think Steven is too. I think the listeners are. Still got to ask this question because the answer might not have anything to do with mentality. It could be totally material. But how did your Olympic experience and that silver and gold change your life, if at all?
I don't know. I can't say that it changed it like crazy. I mean, I think more people like maybe know who I am. It gives me like a cool thing to, share at work. And I guess people like, respect me more. But I wouldn't say me as a person really changed. Like I'm still the same person. Like I think before the Olympics, I was obviously very confident in myself. And then after, I guess that helped a little bit. But I was going to be confident in myself regardless. I mean, it is crazy. Like you win a medal, you get a lot of money. So like that helped. Like I think financially, I feel a lot more secure than I was before. But yeah, that was about it. I would say maybe I feel a little cooler, a little richer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Richer.
But as far as opportunities go, so I guess this segues into the next question, right? Like you mentioned work. So if you're okay talking about it, this is important for other people to see. You're a pro fencer. You are at the highest level. You're an Olympic champion, Olympic silver medalist, and you have a job.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really, really cool because it showcases that you can chase after your dreams while doing adult things and having real responsibilities. What do you do, if you don't mind sharing?
I work in wealth management.
All right.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I think growing up, I was just like, oh, you need to have fencing and you need to have something else.
Yeah.
And so in college, I was like, I'm never just going to be like, I don't want to fence my entire life. Like, I don't want to be 40 and have no other option but becoming a fencing coach. That would be like a nightmare for me. Like if I'm going to be a fencing coach, like I want to have the option to do that. So I was always trying to get internships and things like that. Join professional clubs, things like that. Graduated, got a job. And I'm doing that actually full time and fencing. Luckily it's not like investment banking, so I'm not there forever. But yeah, I think for most fencers, it's really important to have other things and to, not put all your eggs in one basket. just because fencing it's not like basketball, right? You can make money from fencing for sure, but if you want to like, be really financially stable, I wouldn't recommend maybe, only fencing. Like I think there's just, too much downside, I think, for the upside you could potentially get. And obviously there's people who are able to make it really lucrative and a full career, and that's great. But I always recommend people and kids to like, have other things, have other career aspirations, because like fencing will always be here, I feel like. But for things like, getting a job, especially in these days, like that can be quite hard. So, make sure to have both goals.
It's good advice. Good advice for the.
Great advice. Do you think fencing's helped make that other part of your life stronger? At least your experience in fencing?
Yeah, I mean, I think just doing a sport at such a high level, you develop really good skills to work, like, time management, being able to like adapt to various situations, just like working hard, like being fine with working hard, and taking feedback is a big one. So yeah, I think fencing has just, made me really like open to like, obviously starting this new chapter of my life and, hopefully getting better at my job. Yeah.
I have no doubt that you're going to kill it in wealth management or whatever it is you do.
Absolutely.
Like this is something we had a fencer on Ben Atkins talk about it. And you pretty much listed almost verbatim the same things that he talked about. He's a foil and epee national champion from the 90s. And he's very successful in his non-fencing career as well. And he listed some of those things as just skills that were invaluable in his journey outside of the fencing strip. And seems like you got to figure it out. And that's what I was trying to suss out with that question. So
also college kids, clip that, save it for your interview prep. Those are good.
Yeah. Or just show answers. when they ask you in the interview, just show them the video of Lauren saying that. We have a good question coming up, actually. Yeah.
So, thinking back to maybe 5 years ago, what were your goals, your dreams then, inside, outside of fencing, and what are they like now? How is your outlook on your future changed, or what's next for you?
Yeah, I think 5-ish. It was would have been freshman. I was just trying to make my first senior team. Like I had just started going to senior tournaments. Fencing with like people like Lee and like Erigo and all these crazy good fencers. So I honestly just was trying to make a senior team and like get better at fencing at such a high level. Also, I was like, trying to make friends and whatnot. Like I just started school, trying to figure out what I wanted to study, things like that. And I guess now that I have a job and whatnot, I guess, trying to get better at my job, develop that side of my, life more. And also on the fencing side, just like I said before, just trying to see where I can go with the sport. Like it'd be cool if I won some more medals at like World Cup. Like I've never won, like I think I have one World Cup medal.
You got a Grand Prix bronze.
Yeah, Grand Prix. I'd love to get more of those. Maybe like win a World Cup. That'd be really cool. I feel like there's still a lot to do in fencing that I haven't done.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have no doubts that you will do all of it, if not most of it.
You seem to be like a set a goal, accomplish a goal type of person. Yeah. So you just keep doing what you're doing. Keep being yourself, and you'll be celebrated. Like it's good. Wow, I think we just got through all of our planned questions. It seemed, I know it's been almost an hour, but it's flowed real well. Yeah. Like you're a smooth talker. Are there any shout outs that you'd like to give on this podcast? We do have a little bit left, but just in general, like one concept that we've touched on is that there's always a village behind the athlete. At the end of the day, it's you and your opponent on the strip, but what it takes to get you onto that strip is, a support system. And you don't have to, but if you want, this is always a fun moment to give anybody shout outs by name, by general category of group of people in your life. Up to you. Yeah.
All right. So I like to shout out, obviously, friends and family. I mean, they're the core of everything. Yeah. A part of that is also Peter Westbrook Foundation, which is a nonprofit. Yeah. It's kind of he kind of started it all, and I feel like I'm just a part of that legacy.
Yeah.
Obviously, like my coach Sean, and his club Empire United, it's kind of like the roots of where it all started. So, fun fact, he actually reopened his fencing club. So, if you want to come fence in New York, come to Empire. Yeah, and also Absolute Fencing. Fun fact, like Gary and Absolute, like they were one of the first brands that I started wearing, because at the time, like he would give like discounts, which I don't know if he actually was giving us a discount, but he said he was, which is obviously great for my family. And so, I just feel really honored to be officially sponsored by him. Feels like a very full circle moment.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's funny. You actually hit on two of the other things we're going to talk about in this podcast. So I guess we can jump onto that, right? So your stepfather and coach, Sean McClain, just reopened his old club, Empire United, which is very close to where we are right now. It's on 28th and...
I don't know. It's right next to FIT. I don't know. I'm not good with directions.
What?
28th and
maybe 28th and 8th. It's the old Fencers Club location. But point is, Empire United, you can find it on Google. It's got a foil program right now, and maybe in the future for Epee and Saber, or
maybe right now foil focus.
Right now foil focus. But yeah, how are you feeling about that? It's kind of, I know it's a big deal because having a new club in Manhattan, old but new, in Manhattan's a big deal. And your father or stepfather, excuse me, and his business partner Adam, and he's also a coach at this club, Adam Matthew. They're embarking on a big journey, and you're clearly a part of that as one of the star fencers of this new club. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just feels like I'm back home. Like, I think the way Sean runs his program is very like homey almost. Not to repeat, but he makes it. The fencing club is kind of like home away from home, which is I think really important since the kids are spending so much time there. And everyone kind of helps everyone out. Like, I mean, I still talk to like some of my old like club teammates who are like way older than me. Like, like Brian Kanashige, like when I was little, like he was there. Michael Wu, just a whole bunch of people. So I think
those are also some Harvard alum
Harvard
teammates
alum.
of yours. I just saw Brian last weekend with another Harvard alum, Michael Reynes. I don't know if you know the name.
Yes.
All right, so I was just hanging out with them at the Salt Lake City NAC.
So I'm glad that he's able to kind of restart that culture of like that family culture, which I think is something I feel like you don't see sometimes at fencing clubs. I feel like nowadays there's just like you're in and out, you get out. But at Empire, I think he makes it a big goal to make it very like inclusive and family like. So really happy to be back there. I mean, it's nice to practice somewhere where you feel really comfortable and feel like you're friends with everyone, which I think is sometimes not the case, unfortunately. So very happy.
That's awesome.
Sounds like a really unique and great environment to just be in.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of aligns with the way you've described your career. It's just like a good place to be, a very healthy, stable place to be. And I'm excited to see the results that come out of this revival of the club.
Me too.
Yeah, a lot of good vibes. I like the people there. And then you mentioned sponsors and Absolute, and just having support on the fencing journey is a huge deal. You talked about credit card debt. You talked about the Olympics almost bailing you out of that, right? I think Absolute's not our sponsor. They're not the sponsor of this podcast. We're sponsored by Prieur USA, and that being said, having companies like Absolute and Prieur being willing to invest in athletes at different levels and help support them on their career is a huge deal. It's a really huge deal because this is a sport that's a financial burden on parents. And then if you want to pursue this at the highest level after you're done with college, or if you don't go to college, whatever, it's a huge burden on the athlete.
Yeah.
And, do you mind elaborating on how that's been a game changer for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that like fencing is a huge burden on athletes, and definitely it's an issue I think in U.S. fencing with like maintaining fencers and keeping fencers continuing the sport. So it's great to see more companies providing financial support as well as like just the gear. Like I mean, our gear is so expensive. So even if I just had that, like that'd be amazing. But obviously Gary takes it a step further, which is amazing. And, it's incredible to see how much Absolute has grown since like I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, being sponsored, one, it makes you just feel better about yourself. Like, as, if you're a top athlete in this country for this sport, I feel like you should be awarded for that somewhat. And we are, like, I think top 4 gets, covered to go to World Cups, which is great. But, having the gear you wear, like, be provided and whatnot, I think it just, you feel special, which I think is important when you're going across the country to, represent your country. So yeah, I feel like a star. Like, going to the NAC and like seeing my billboard for the first time was like magical. So, obviously I have a lot of confidence in myself, but, having little things like that, I think really just takes it to a next level, and really makes you feel like a professional athlete, even though some might not even consider me a professional athlete. Yeah.
You're a beast.
Those are, to credit Absolute, those billboards you guys are really
They're
freaking cool.
Prier's trying to keep up. Prier's got some good
I'm not
billboards.
saying Prier's not doing a good job. Shout out Prier. But I will say
No, I
that
like it.
Absolutes, those are really
They had a
freaking
really cool one of an epeists named Ruben Lamardo. That one's a sick one.
What's funny about that one is I don't think in the photo they took he was wearing Absolute, so they had to like Photoshop out the logos. But
Yeah.
that's
But they still did.
that's just
and they
me
used
digging
the
a
photo.
little bit,
But yeah, no, it's really cool. Absolute was the first, maybe not the first, but they were the first company to really jump on the sponsorship train
Yeah.
Yes.
as heavily as they did. And I think that made waves. And, Prier has definitely learned from that.
Yeah.
And tried to innovate on it. And I mean, clearly you got to give credit to companies like Absolute and Gary. I've had nothing but good interactions with Gary. Yeah, that's great. And then the next thing that you talked about was support, unless you wanted to say something.
No, go for it.
Had to do with Peter Westbrook Foundation and,
Yeah.
The shout out that you gave there. I think, so we had written in a little bit here and just want to bring up to anyone listening to this podcast or watching or however it is you're engaging with it. So I took this from their website. The Peter Westbrook Foundation. Well, first of all, Peter Westbrook was a legendary American fencer. Lauren talked about being inspired by Keith Smart. Keith Smart was inspired by Peter Westbrook. Peter Westbrook was the first black fencer to medal from the U.S. at the Olympics, maybe just across the world, but definitely from the U.S. And he was an elite fencer himself. And then what he ended up doing when he finished his career was becoming a lot bigger than his fencing career ever was. Like, there are plenty of people that know the name Peter Westbrook and what he's done in the sport without knowing any of his accolades. And you, speaking of Peter Westbrook, you're the 17th Olympian to come from Peter Westbrook
I did not
fencing.
know that.
Yeah, so just another notch in a history book. But the Peter Westbrook Foundation addresses social, physical, academic, and health barriers by leveraging the unique sport of fencing to offer structured physical activity, academic support, and world-class coach mentors to help underrepresented youth excel. And we're going to provide a link to their website in the podcast description so anyone can read up on more, donate if they feel like it. But it's a really amazing organization that's been around longer than any of us have been fencing, longer than Lauren's been alive, maybe longer than we've been alive. I don't know when it got started, but definitely my whole career. Yeah. Peter Westbrook has always been a staple for members of the national team, national championship winners across all the events. And, every Olympic team has, anywhere from like probably 5 to 30+% of the team being from Peter Westbrook. It's really incredible. And it's really changed the lives and trajectories of lives for a myriad of people from New York City and maybe outside of New York as well. I don't want to speak to that. I don't know it, but I do know that it's an amazing organization and it's really cool to just read about. So anyone who's listening to this, go check that out. And definitely had something else. Oh yeah, today's a Saturday, which means you were volunteering at Peter Westbrook Foundation today.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing just a tiny bit of what that's like? And then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's from 9 to 12. We start with like conditioning and exercise, making sure they're fit and getting a good workout in. And then we transition into footwork. And then, mind you, this is all in one big room. It's like everyone is basically working out together. And so a big thing for us is that like if you're not doing a workout, then everyone, essentially is not doing the workout. So you have to be accountable. And so oftentimes, like, let's say some kid doesn't want to do jumping jacks. You all have to basically stop and maybe do planks and things like that. So I think just like being a family and working as one unit is a big thing for the Peter Westbrook Foundation. And I definitely felt that like family energy, like when competing. Like I said, like fencing's an individual sport. And so for the first time when I joined PWF, it wasn't just me, which I think was really incredible and kind of, pushed me to the next level. But continue on with like what we do at the foundation. So yeah, we have exercising, we have footwork, and then we split up into the 3 weapons, and then we basically run like a mini class. So obviously I manage foil. We go through drills and fencing and things like that. But yeah, I mean, every Saturday the kids come. They get a good workout in. I think they also get like tutoring after that, which is great. All my kids today, I asked them what grades they got. They got A's.
Hey,
I don't know about the other weapons.
We can't speak
Gotta
about
check on Saber.
but foil is killing
Check
it.
on
That's
Saber.
good to know. That's good to know.
So yeah, it's just great to see like, them thriving physically, like athletically, and, just in school. Yeah.
Based on Notre Dame, the GPAs I think went foil up a Saber, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, foil was definitely the highest, and Epee and Saber were battling it out
Yeah.
for the cahoots.
I think because they get hit in the head all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. We do have one final segment, Steven.
Yeah, so-
I think you should run this.
All right. So this is our last segment. It's called we call it one light answers. So to get one light, you got to be quick. You got to be ahead of the timing. You got to get that one light on. So these are just rapid fire questions. Whatever comes to your head, comes off your mind first. Just blurt it out, and don't be too nervous.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Who are your 2 favorite fencers?
Ooh, I don't have one.
No, 2 favorite.
damn.
Whoa.
That's
a
beat
new
the
one.
question.
I don't have one.
Jeez.
All right. Good bout.
All right. Yeah. Jeez. All right. We'll leave.
Wait, I do like fencers, but I personally have never been like,
Even when you were a kid.
Especially when I was a kid. I would say as a kid, I
Whoa.
never really like.
Okay. Who are the 2
Now-
fencers you respect the most as opponents?
Okay, well, Lee obviously
All right.
got destroyed by Lee in front of like thousands of people. And then Erigo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who you got to have a sick win against in front of thousands of people.
That was very scary.
It was dope. What is the favorite fencing city you've been to?
Ooh. Hong Kong.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's in your equipment bag right now that probably shouldn't be?
An opened thing of like beef jerky.
What's your go-to hype up song?
Ooh. What was I listening to at the Olympics? Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's your favorite comedian / comedy actor?
Oh gosh.
I think you're trying to bait something here.
I
This
don't
is a little
know.
niche.
We're just trying to get
I don't know.
more
I
of,
was watching Veep yesterday. I
Okay.
don't even know who the lady is. She was really funny.
All
Veep,
right.
The Veep actor.
All right. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
I also don't. I know the face, no name. Who is the most challenging bout that you've ever had?
Oh my gosh. Challenging. This could be like multiple bouts.
It's okay.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Maybe I guess I'll bring one up. Was it Torin Junior World Championships? I was like down 10 to 14, and I came back and won.
Who was
That
it
was
with?
pretty tough. Pristilnik.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember that.
I do remember
Hey, you
that.
were
I was there
there.
live.
He was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fun. We don't need the we can go to tangent later, but I remember seeing you win that
I think
tournament.
you lifted me up.
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
Because I remember they let us on, like
Yeah.
me and the other FA guys, and that was like we had never
Yeah,
spoken or
I
met
remember.
before,
Who's
and
this guy?
we were like,
So
nice.
You,
I
you
just-
and, you and Jonathan?
yeah, I remember the look you
Yeah.
gave me, just like who the fuck? All right, thanks. Like, that was good. $10,000 on the line. Are you beating your big bro in a 15 touch bout right now?
That's tough. My brother's tall.
And he's good?
And
he's
he's
good.
pretty good. I don't think so.
Really?
I think it'd be really tough.
10K on the line.
$10,000? I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm 5'3", so
but
gonna be
you
really-
got a good attack.
he's got a good attack.
All right, fair. As a young fencer, you took some epee lessons with Misha Makartsov in Brooklyn and were supposedly a strong epeist. How are you doing at a Div 1 woman's epee neck?
Div 1 was epic. Oh, man. Which flight am I? First flight, second flight?
It's, let's just say it's standard tournament,
Right.
pools and DEs.
I think I could get through pools for sure.
And
I-
then
I
and
think
you're
I
out?
could get through pools. I think
Undoubtedly.
I could do like a 32.
All right.
That's fair.
Maybe one day.
Final question. What's your favorite piece of pre-air equipment?
My absolute USA fence.
There we go. All right. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for taking the time, coming and joining us on the podcast. We hope you had a good time. And it's been a real honor and a privilege to hear you speak about your career and hear, what makes you tick and your approach to it. And just the way you talk, it's almost like no shit, she's so successful. Like everything you say just makes it sound so effortless, not to discount the effort that you've put in, but just the way you approach these things just feels like the obvious way. And it's just so professional and so mature and really like a testament to you, a testament to your achievements and an inspiration to anybody in this sport or trying to just achieve their dreams. So I hope people will access this and listen to it and enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks
thank
for
Let
having
us
me.
be two more, just heads that are celebrating you for who you are. That you're awesome. And Steven said the word honored. It's a privilege to have you here. It's a privilege to get to be a platform that helps share your story and share your mindset. And really, thank you. This was awesome. And the first women's foilist, and we hit a home run. You're a beast. And just thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having this podcast.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, hopefully we'll have you on in the future.
Yeah.
And big success.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prieur. Without your support, we wouldn't have awesome episodes just like this one. A huge goal of this podcast is to bring fencing further into the mainstream by sharing the stories, journeys, challenges, and triumphs of major names and faces in the fencing world. So every like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, means plenty, not just to this podcast, but to the sport of fencing. So please keep on supporting. We really appreciate it. And we're going to keep bringing episodes just like this with awesome athletes to you guys.